Hello everyone, this is Mahipal and today I am going to talk about what is NCR. NCR stands for n factorial divided by r factorial times n minus r factorial. This is the formula for combination and this is not the correct way to use this formula. And what is NPR? NPR stands for n factorial over n minus r factorial. Again, this is the formula for permutation and it is not the best way to understand the permutation. In many books and video, you would be asked to use this formula if you have to select r things out of n, and if you have to arrange r, if you have to select r things out of n, and if you have to arrange r things out of n. One thing I can assure you, if you know only these two types of formulae, you will never really understand permutation and combination. I think you can understand well if you wish to master this topic, that's counting. C-O-U-N-T-I-N-G. Okay, if you are able to count well, then the topic permutation and combination will be walking the path for you. Counting is not easy, as simple as counting the fingers, but trust me, counting is easy. Let's say we have 3 pens and 2 markers. We have 3 pens these are the pens, these are the markers. 3 pens and 2 markers. In how many ways you can pick one item from 5? Understand the question well. In how many ways you can pick one item from 3 pens and 2 markers? So, in how many ways do you think you can do this? Pause the video and try it yourself. Look at this logically. We can either pick the first pen, we call it as P1, or second pen, we call it as P2, or maybe the third pen, we call it as P3. Or maybe we can the marker, the first one is M1 and second one is M2. So one thing you can notice here, we keep saying or. 3 ways marker can be picked, three ways pen can be picked, P1, P2, P3, plus 2 ways marker can be picked, M1 and M2. So overall total 5 ways we can pick one item from these 5. So overall there are 5 ways we can pick one item from these 5. This is the first rule of counting, or. Or always means addition. Or always means addition. So this is the first rule of counting. Now let me ask you another question. In how many ways you can pick one pen and one marker? Having picked the pen, we need to pick the marker. So the pen, suppose this pen is P1, P2, P3, and this 2 one is marker. This 2 one are marker. So M1, M2. So having picked the pen, we need to pick the marker. One way, one can pick the pen P1 and they need to pick marker also. So after picking the first pen, one maybe pick the marker M1, or after picking the pen P1, maybe one can pick the marker M2. Okay, and what is the second case? One can pick the pen P2, and after picking the pen P2, one can pick the marker M1, and or after picking the pen P2, one can pick the marker M2. And similarly, if one can pick the pen P3, and after picking the pen P3, he or she may pick marker M1 or marker M2. In all, you can see that there are 6 ways one can pick pen and a marker. So what are the 6 ways? P1 M1, P1 M2. So P1 M1, P2 M2, P2 M1, sorry, here is P1 M2, P2 M1, P2 M2, and similarly P3 M1, P3 M2. So how to get a 6? 3 ways. Pen can be picked, and 2 ways, marker can be picked. So 3 ways times 2 ways, total 6 ways. So and is another rule of counting. And marker, so 3 ways plus 2 ways, total 5 ways. 1 pen and 1 marker, 1 pen and 1 marker, 3 ways into 2 ways, total 6 ways. So if you understand these 2 rules of counting, trust me, you will able to solve most of the problem based on permutation and combination, and this is nothing new. You have used it many times of life. And what is these 2 rules? OR means addition and AND means multiplication. Only these 2. Look at this picture. How many circles do you see here? Pause the video and try it yourself. I dot, you counted each circles. Instead of counting each circles, you have noticed there are 6 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 columns and 4 rows. This is columns. 6 columns and 4 rows. Because it is AND, the number of circles will be 6 multiplied by 4. 24 in all. 24 in all. Don't forget these basic rules. AND is multiplication, OR is addition. The topic permutation and combination is not liked by many students and maybe you as well. So we will cover as many topics as we can. And one thing I can assure you, if you watch all our videos based on this topic, you will master the concept. Thank you.